thought I was going away? Nah, I'm here
Psych!
to stay. How we doing? Welcome back to a brand new episode, number 19 of the Who What Now Gaming podcast, the podcast for consumers by consumers, where we ask the questions, who are you, what got you into gaming, and what type of gamer are you now? Although today we are not asking those three major questions, we have an absolute treat of a guest coming back for, I don't know, what is this, 7, 8, 9, 12, 15 times? We're going in with Noah Chapman talking about the new games
inevitable
of 2024.
I'm going to be back.
Noah, how you doing?
I'm in the episodes. I'm talked about when the episodes I'm not in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm inevitable, in the words of Thanos.
Your name is in every episode, I'm pretty sure.
That's right. That's right. Rightfully so.
Oh, rightfully so. Right where you should be.
Right where I belong.
The place has been taken. It's like you're gonna have this like King of the Hill thing going on with guests, and people are just gonna be like trying to like overthrow it. Yeah. And the real winner will be me, because I'll have episode after
You're
episode.
like, all this content.
I'm like, look at all this stuff.
Honestly,
how you doing, Noah?
So
How's
happy to be back. What an episode last week. Call back your little funsies that you did there for all of us listeners. Thought I was gonna lose my job there for a second. Yeah. So good job, good on that. The world stopped.
Yeah, the amount of text messages I woke up to being like, what is this?
Yeah.
Why is this going away? Are you okay? Like, I mean, hey, also thank you everyone for the love and support. I had a lot of people checking in on me.
Yeah, you're a little attention seeker. That's what you are. Yeah. You're like, just want to make sure you all still love me. I know. I see it. I saw it, man. I literally just got people starting to listen to this, and they're texting me, this last episode is like, I was just getting into it.
Yeah, it's a good way to keep people on their toes when you just put thank you and goodbye, and then even if you look at the description on there, I was just like, oh, we got to say goodbye to something.
I know. I was like, there's nothing here, and I'm like, I'm the tech guy. I thought I was going to be told about this. Nope.
Yeah.
And then it was all just for fun.
I didn't tell anybody. Yeah, I didn't tell a single person. Yeah. I didn't let anybody know. I just full send.
Very, very fun. Look forward for that about every 6 months. We'll have a end scare from the host here.
Yeah. Right when
all right,
when
enough bragging on you. Before you kick me off,
comfortable.
He's going to ban me here in a second if I don't lay off.
The real reason we brought you here, Noah, in front of everybody is to tell you this.
You're fine.
We've been looking into other options. Noah, dude, this year has been a hell of a year. We've had the start of the podcast. We've had a possible end of the podcast.
Real roller coaster.
But dude, we're getting to that time of the year when we start to actually like the new games of the year are being released. We normally, I mean, we always go like the first 7 to 10 months of the year, basically just playing all of last year's games, and then we just get an ocean wave of new games. And I'll tell you what, this year is looking really good, but there's a lot of games that I've been really anticipating that are getting pushed back, which is getting
the inevitable, a little constant delay. Yeah,
which could be
I always struggle
thing.
with that. Exactly. That's literally what I was going to say. I struggle with it because I know that the whole crunch time situation in development of games is a really big issue. So, I always would, the side of me that is, the human who also has a job and works long hours is like, I don't want anyone going through, mental anguish just to get a game out on time. So if it needs to be delayed, delay it. But when it's like delay and then another, sometimes, your patience gets tested, even if you do have the best of hopes that it's for the right reasons and it's to make sure it's what does come out is complete. and quality. Although I will say it feels like of late we've had a lot of situations where we have all the delays and we still get the game and it's like, hey, this isn't quite finished, and you have to give it a couple weeks with some patches, and then they're like, okay, all right, now we can settle in. So sometimes I'm like, and we delayed this, why? Because it's still
right.
But I'm not a developer, don't hate on me, I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm an idiot.
And unfortunately, we might end up having one of those situations in our topic point today. Because I've gone into some rabbit holes with some of these games, and some of them top notch. I am super stoked for some of these, but one of these in very much particular is going to be a doozy, because well, we'll get into it. So let's start off with is there any game, just for prediction wise, is there any game that you were looking forward to this year that never got a release date? Because I definitely have one, but I was curious if you also had one.
A game. Let's see. A game that I thought was going to be released, that was highly anticipated to be released this year, but there's no release date for it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that was more maybe last year for me a little bit, although I didn't feel it as much because we got Baldur's Gate, and then I was just like, I didn't care about other releases basically once that game released.
Yeah.
So
factual.
So I think some of that is happening now. Like the big one for me, which I don't know if it's an actual full on, we don't have a straight up date, but we have Fall, and that's one we're going to talk about eventually, which is Dragon Age, the Veilguard, which is the new. That's the one that I was like, come on, let's get a date, and we still don't have an exact release date.
Right.
Which is annoying because I put my schedule in advance and I want to make sure I have the day off. But I don't usually do that for video games, but I really, I'm a BioWare guy, as everyone knows, if you've been listening. So I'm going to give them another chance with this one.
Hell yeah.
So I know it's fall, but not an actual date yet. And so I'm a little worried that might mean, actually it's going to be spring 25, or something like that.
It's possible. Luckily, Dragon Age has a good track record, so like I'm more.
Yeah, and I mean the game looks pretty complete based on what they've released. It looks like they have gone on record saying that the game is playable in its current condition. It is just polishing that's left,
right? So. Which is sometimes what games will do, or developers will do, when they're like, yeah, the game's ready, and then they'll put it out, and then all you do is see videos of people hitting glitches and bugs and like issues or whatever, and then they're like, oh well, don't worry, we're gonna put a patch out for it, and you're like, well, you should have just had this done, or like figured that out or play tested or something. But I think they have a good track record. I think we'll be good for it, and I'm excited to see where we go with that one. I was looking forward to, because they've been talking about it since 2011, 2010, something like that, whenever the last Wolverine game came out. There's been talk of an actual like PS5, like new console quality, new story, like full, I don't know if it's like a rated R game or an M for mature kind of thing, but like Wolverine brutal, like nitty gritty kind of like game. And I've been looking forward to that one for a while. And I saw the trailer a little, like maybe like 2 weeks ago or something, and I got really, really hyped for it, to find out that it was fan created. Like they were like, this is what the potential is going to look like. And I was like, come on, man. Like, just give me something. Give me the game. Give me even just give me like a cover art. It would make me feel good. Like, make me feel like you're not just stringing this along and nothing's going to happen.
Man, wouldn't it be awesome to get have Wolverine get like the God of War treatment? Type of thing, dude, like that kind of that level of story immersion, and like,
yes,
like because he's that kind
Oh
of
my God, it would
brooding
be
kind of like
amazing.
delicious.
Yeah,
It would be
dude.
so good. Yep.
That and just because even I know it's a hot topic in the world right now. Movie's been out for maybe like 3 weeks now, maybe 4 by the time this comes out. But you know, Deadpool Wolverine is out in theaters. I have always been a big fan of Deadpool. Back when like the original game was out, and like the comics, and like I love Deadpool. But I would love for whoever needs to get the rights to, you know, make a Deadpool game, do it. I just want to play it. It's just I love Deadpool so much. Like I just
want to be him.
I just want to do something. Yeah, exactly. I want to wear his skin. I want a good I just want a good like Deadpool game, you know?
Yeah.
But
yeah. I feel like there's no way it's not successful
lifetime.
with how big those movies are. Every single movie, boom, 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 blockbuster.
Yeah, they've been huge hits. Woo. But let's discuss the games that are coming out this year, or at least we're anticipating are so far to be planned to be coming out by the end of this year. You know, things always can happen. Some things can get pushed. Yeah, exactly. So I created a list. I don't know if you did, but just like in school and one of us is failing, let's compare notes.
Sounds good.
So the first one actually on my list is going to be a nice little shout out to Control Alt Quinn. Control Alt Quinn, fantastic streamer, a good friend of ours, and but also a huge lover of World of Warcraft. And a new expansion is coming by the end of August 26th. The new expansion of WoW, which is the War Within. And I know
I did
that
see
Quinn's
a trailer
very
for this.
excited for this. Yeah. And it is going to be the first of the World Soul Sage trilogy. So it's going to be pretty big especially for World of Warcraft like enthusiasts. I know that number one, the fan base behind World of Warcraft is massive. And I definitely want to do an episode on World of Warcraft. As much as I don't know about it, I want to.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be getting.
I would be happy to listen to that episode because I am not a WoW player.
Yeah, me neither.
I know that anybody who plays it will hate to hear me say this but I find it to have it's been going on for too long. It's too big of a thing. I just find it a little bit inapproachable to me personally. And also, I'm a bit of a niche gamer. I play certain types of games, and WoW is kind of adjacent, I think, to the kind of things that I like, but not quite there. And I just don't think I can give it the time commitment that type of game really thrives on.
Yeah.
So I love watching it. I love hearing about it. It's definitely like the lore and stuff is super interesting to me. I just know that me personally, I can't give it what it needs to be able to truly get all of that. So kudos to everyone. Excited for the community. I hope it's good. I feel like I don't. Again, I'm not super into it, but I don't know that. I feel like the community's been pretty happy with releases overall recently.
Yeah.
So I think that the developers behind it are knocking out some decent stuff. You know, I'm sure it never will compare to, you know, the OG stuff, you know, the stuff that made WoW what it is. But, you know, sounds like they're trying to do right by the fans, and hopefully this is a good one for them.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't I also have not played WoW ever. But it always has been kind of in like the back of my head. I have been talking to Control Quinn about, you know, setting up an account and and doing some like collaboration, type esque things, or just like getting into it, seeing what it's all about kind of thing. But, first and foremost, like I definitely have to find the time to be able to do it. And I also got to make sure my computer has the specs to do it. And I know a lot of people are going to say, but it definitely does. Like I have a laptop. We'll figure it out. I'm not super tech savvy. So, if someone says I do, maybe, I don't know. But World of Warcraft, the new expansion is coming August 26th, 2024, end of this month. The War Within. It looks good. The lore is super cool.
Their trailers for those expansions are always so neat. Yeah. I'm like, man, I'm like, this looks so cool. And then I'll see it's World of Warcraft and I'll be like, oh, well, good for them.
Yeah, dude. Didn't you ever have like those, like when you were a kid and you just had like the one console, and then like a trailer would come on the TV and you're like, that game is sick. I can't wait to play it. And then it's just like on everything but your console. And you're like, great, thank you. Awesome. I'm so happy this happened,
Have fun, guys.
God. Yeah.
Yep.
So something else that I've got on here, I'm saving the big, the ones that I know that we're going to be talking a lot about
just
towards
blab.
the end.
Yeah. Smart.
Because I got some of these things are going to be little love-hate relationship type of things. But something else that's kind of largely anticipated, and I was really looking forward to it again until I found out what the requirements to play it were going to be. But there is a brand new Batman game coming to the Arkham series called Batman Arkham Shadows. And I love the Batman games. I love the Arkham games. They're so good. The stories are awesome. The combat's really cool. Like the puzzles, the way that you can just kind of explore and open, city and stuff, and the villains. It's super, super cool. And I was really anticipating this until they announced that it is going to be 100% solely and utterly VR only. And I'm like, why?
The
gameplay looks cool, like, but to just be Batman VR. Now, I'm sure if you have a VR, definitely check it out. It looks really good. It genuinely looks really good. I don't have it. So it immediately jumps off my radar.
Well, I get nervous when I hear that it's a VR only title, because part of me thinks, oh, that's great, because that means that it is they for the people that have VR, they made it just for them. They weren't trying to kind of both sides this situation, and that might mean better quality for the people that have VR. But at the same time, I wonder how much did they actually budget for this game, knowing that relatively, I mean, it's a growing market, but it's still a relatively small market of people are actually going to be able to play it. And then I wonder if there's going to be, maybe the game is going to be short because of that, or maybe it's going to be super linear and maybe not have a lot. You just wonder if it's going to have the full-fledged nature of a normal release. Because it's shoehorned, but you better believe they're going to charge full price for it.
Well, I'm really glad you said that, actually, because
are they not, or is it a lower price?
It is not. It is going to be regular price.
Yeah, exactly. I can bet you anything they're going to charge full price for it.
Yeah, it's going to be full price.
I'd love to be wrong. I would love to see the reviews come out and be like, hey, no, this is finally a studio that took VR seriously, that spent money on it and gave us a quality game. I hope so. But, this is the podcast for consumers, by consumers, and we as consumers know what happens when people, and when it's if it's not made for the mass market, it might not get the attention and the budget and the quality that it needs. Just to hedge our expectations a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. Well, they did come forward and say that they did put the time and the money and the budget and everything to make it is going to be it has been spoken for. This is not like we don't see it yet, so we won't know it yet. But it has been spoken for by the developers that this is going to be a full length game, which I think is really, really cool. The only thing that kind of throws me off about it is that like a full length game to me is like anywhere between 30 to 80 hours, right? I would love for those games to be more, but 30 to 80 hours is typically a full length campaign game. That is a long
and a lot of times
time.
those 30 and 80 hours is and it can even be more if you're 100%ing, if you're exploring every nook and cranny. How much extra exploration, like how much like can you really milk out of it, or is it going to be it's a full-length game, you're capped at 30 hours, also there ain't nothing else to do. That's going to feel a lot different.
That's a long time to be in VR. Like
it is,
not everybody
but then
has
just add on to that too. It's also like, gosh, that's still even a long time.
Yeah, like I've seen people like enjoy like a couple of hours like doing that like Coliseum simulator like game and things, and like or like I've seen people do like the sandbox like Spider-Man-y kind of things, which is really cool. But like to just be able to come home and throw the VR on and then pick up exactly where you left off in a video game just seems kind of like a bold move, and it could work. I don't know. I've oddly enough, I am speaking out my ass here because I have not even had a chance to do VR yet. So I don't even know how it feels, what it looks like, how, what it messes with your equilibrium. Like, I don't know. But it seems like a long time. But those who have used VR, some have told me it's so fun, it's amazing, but you really should only do like a couple hours or something. And then some people say like hey, I can only play it for like 10 minutes before I start getting motion sickness, And I'm like, hey, that makes
I feel
sense.
Like, I think like when people pop it on to like watch a movie where they just like have like it's still like a kind of a static screen in front of them, when they're using it for that, it tends to be they can handle it longer. But when you're actually like interacting with a 3D environment all around you, I think that's where, I think it's hard to maintain for that many hours. So it's like, it's totally like possible issues on both fronts. Like, not only is that to have a full length game in VR, like, ooh, that could be tough, but also is it really going to be the same experience even saying it's full length? So it'll just be really interesting to see what happens.
I agree.
But a great chance for something. So next up, go.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was gonna say next up on my list here is that something that I actually did not find out about until today, and I'm actually super excited to be able to play this one because I am a huge fan of Indiana Jones, and it looks like we do not have a release date yet. We do not have an actual release date yet. But it is said to be releasing sometime by the end of 2024 or early 2025. But Indiana Jones, and I think it's the Great Circle or something like that, or something Circle. But it actually looks pretty good. And if we're, the one thing that I did look at is that it looks like it's going to be all in first person, which is going to be really cool. Because I've always liked like first person games, like in a way, like especially like Call of Duty. Obviously, you need that first person, but even like Skyrim was first person. It's fun to like sometimes just be from that visual viewpoint.
Yeah.
And as an Indiana Jones game where you're going through and you're going through tombs or solving puzzles or whatever, like this could be like potentially be a really cool game. Now the only thing that I could see that them absolutely failing it on is if they try to make the game like a movie, and that's where we're going to lose like a lot of the audience,
especially in the first person perspective. That's not going to go very well. When I think of an Indiana Jones game, I immediately think of the Tomb Raider series and Uncharted. Those games, I mean, they were both, I think, very much inspired in some ways by I think Indiana Jones was inspiration at some level for those games. So I my first thought would have been that would be the direction they would go. But to go first person is really interesting to me. I have had a good time with a handful of first person games. The games that I tend to enjoy are often not first person. So be interesting. I'll definitely want to take a look at it. I really enjoy the Indiana Jones franchise. Like the classics.
Yeah, me too.
The last couple releases have been not so great for me, but I think the lore and the idea of what it is really cool. So I would love to see it done well. This is one where I get a little worried that this is, that we're not just trying to like kind of grab a well-known franchise, make something quick that we know people will buy. Just from that consumer perspective, I get a little bit nervous that might be what this is. So, and it's a Disney property. So, there's always that situation where Disney and video games is quite hit or miss. So it might not be a Disney studio making it, but, they'll have some say over it for sure. So,
yeah, having the rights to, the intellectual properties and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I definitely think is going to be something with an upcoming game that I'm very disappointed in. But we're getting it. We're getting close to it. There is for all of the TTRPG players out there who enjoy or have dove in deep into Warhammer 40K. Good news for you. Warhammer 40K is coming out September 9th. Space Marines 2 or Space Marine 2. This one, I gotta say, actually looks really cool. Didn't care for the first one. I know a lot of people who played it and loved it. Space Marines 2 actually looks like a game that I might actually purchase this one and give
now
this
what
one like
genre
a
is this?
good...
Is this like strategy? Is this like strategy game or am I totally off?
Yeah, kind of. It's like a shooter strategy. Like I haven't seen too much of the gameplay yet. It seems like only a few things have been released for this game to kind of keep like the hype, going, which is a cool marketing thing. But like, you find like one video with like one good like gameplay or story arc or whatever, and you're like, all right, I'm hooked. Like I can kind of feed off of this one for a while. What they essentially do with the game at the end, I don't know, but the graphics look really nice. Just like in podcasting, if the audio isn't good, I won't listen to it. So like if the game doesn't look stunning or like look pretty good for what it's supposed to be, I'm not in. Like that's just a weird thing that I have. It's like a weird pet peeve. Fun. I can't like not, you know what I mean? Like if a game is supposed to be like super super hyped and it's been like in development for like 15 years, but then it looks like Pac-Man, and you're like, what the fuck is this? Like there's like a weird pet peeve. I just can't do it. I can't get into it. But it looks really good. And from what I've seen, it looks enjoyable. I might be jumping in on this bandwagon. Don't think it'll be something that like I end up streaming or anything, but I think it'll be something that I just like kind of enjoy, either before work or like after work or something, just to like kind of, pass the time and enjoy a game for myself. So, I gotta say that one's looking pretty good.
It also looks like one that might be fun to like get a bunch of friends and just be on a team and go. It looks like it's like there's like a team aspect to it, so could be fun. Could be an option. I
think it's got a lot of potential. Warhammer has always been, it's very popular, in and outside of the virtual world. Those who play, work. I mean, actually, when we went to PAX Unplugged last year, I mean, holy cow, there was
Huge following.
There was 2 lines just to get into the damn convention. One of them was to get into the convention. The other one was to get in line for the new expansion of 40K. Like, you remember that? Like that, dude, there were people going in there specifically and solely to drop like $300, $400, $500 on like everything that they could possibly get their hands on for the new expansion. And then like, how many people did we watch like walking around with dollies filled with cases of stuff? Just that it was
and
insane.
Those bags,
like,
those special board game bags, just stacked
dude.
to the brand new stuff. Man.
That was insane.
Yeah, we had a bit of FOMO. We almost bought a big box game. You came this close.
Oh, I know. I was actually really close. I was super close. And if I can remember or find out what the game's actual name was, I want to look it up and try to go for it again, because it's been almost a year. So I want to maybe the price dropped a little bit.
Maybe a little discount. Yeah, it was definitely, I mean, amazing. But
it was like a $300 game, dude.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, oh. Well, I remember we were like, oh, so it's this box. And he goes, yes, this box and then these 3. And then that's the main box that goes with it. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, we're like holding the one box and we're like, man, so you guys fit the whole game in here? And he goes, that's the instruction manual. And we're like, oh, cool. Where's the game? And he's like, I hope you have a box truck, because all of this comes with the game. And you're like, great, thanks.
Yep, that was really funny.
It was a huge game too, because it was like each game had its own, or each chapter of the book or of the campaign had its own book, and it came with like 17, 18 books and the instruction manual. And then it had like a box of play sets, and one box solely just held like the cards, and one of them held all the stuff that goes on the map. And it was like, oh yeah, like if you're gonna, this isn't like a game where it's like, hey, we're having friends over for game night. This is like, hey guys, we have 48 hours with nothing to do. Do you want to embark on this?
And the first half of it is assembling.
We're gonna get to the house a week early just to set everything up. Like,
first week put together, second week play.
Dude, it was nuts, but it really looked really cool. I wish we got to play test it, but all of the tables were just filled.
I know, it was popular, and it was not Frosthaven. If anyone's asking, it was another one.
No, it was not
Frosthaven. Also looks awesome, but it was not that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
We know what Frosthaven is.
Hey, speaking of Frosthaven, Frostpunk 2 actually just came out. I don't know, that one's already out already, but wildly popular board game. And semi almost as popular video game. They released a second one, and their tag point was everything you thought was awesome in the first one is now more awesome, and there's more awesome stuff too. And I went, great, good line, but also well done. Like, thank you. You did good. You done good, kid. Like, I don't know what they were thinking, but it's not a game for me. But also, hey, if you like it, you like it. It's awesome.
Sometimes that is what the fans want. They just want exactly what we love, just more and better. And so,
just more of it.
Good on them.
Yeah, I can't deny that. I'll always be that on the Baldur's Gate 3 thing, which I know it's not a new release game, but if you're a huge fan of Baldur's Gate 3, there is a huge patch 7 coming to consoles on in September. I don't remember the exact date, but in September, I want to say somewhere in the mid, maybe like either 7th or 17th or something. There is a massive patch 7 coming to Baldur's Gate 3, which is introducing the mod community to consoles,
that's awesome.
This is where you want the mods to be able to get, and dude, the mod community has done some crazy stuff. Like there's one mod that actually is going to work that is completely revamps everything in the game. and
I
changes
saw
like
something
the
about that, and I
classes
was
and
like, I
stuff.
wonder
And
if this is going to be
oh
on
my God.
consoles.
Yeah, it's gonna add.
I was like,
It
this
adds a bunch
is
of
for
different
Josh.
subclasses. Yeah, adds subclasses, adds races, adds classes, adds
Wow.
like weapons and spells and new features, and like, yeah, it's gonna be that. It's gonna be a weekend where I just don't see the sunlight because I'm gonna want to play it the whole time, and I'm
hell
so
yeah.
looking forward to it. But also, I mainly just want one mod specifically that allows me to bring all of my companions with me at all times.
There
That's
you
what I want
go.
to do.
There you go.
I'm so sick and tired
I'd
of
be
having
down
to
for that.
just jump back and forth all the time. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
But I digress.
You
for
won't
all
have
you,
to. Those combat encounters will be so short because by the time you get through however many of your companions, there's no way they're still alive.
You're like, that's
I
nuts.
didn't even get a turn. The enemy says.
Yeah. Honor mode, watch out. I'm ripping through.
Honor mode, schmother mode.
Yeah. For all
I've
you
got an
spooky
army.
fans, for all the spooky fans out there, Silent Hill 2 comes out October 8th, 2024, which is right
that could be
line for our spooky time streams.
I was just gonna say, is this on the docket maybe for the Phoenix Stewart streamer?
Just might be. We have. I will say we have a game that we will be starting off our spooky month horror games with.
Yeah.
I, as tough and manly and beastly as I am, and handsome and beautiful as I is, I jump scare a lot.
I hate fucking jump scares. I hate them.
Gets me. Yeah.
Yep.
So jump scares get me so easily, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I reached out to a friend of mine who really enjoys horror games, and I was like, all right, listen, I need a horror game that like needs like I need some good like brah kind of things.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to embarrass myself, but also like I want this to be pretty entertaining.
Oh yeah.
So we got a game lined up. We're gonna see how it goes for the first one, and then we'll see. If we get far into that, or we want to switch it up, maybe Silent Hill 2 might be a good run to just dive into. It'll be fresh in everybody's minds. It'll be something that nobody knows of yet. So it could be fun. It could be interesting.
I do not play horror games, but I'll watch the hell out of them sometimes. So I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know. Something about I don't feel alone when I'm watching somebody else play.
Yeah. I don't even like going to watch like horror movies and stuff with it. Like, it's more of like a group activity to me. The only the latest one that I saw that I think is in the horror category was The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which is chapter 7 of the original Dracula book from like 1860 something.
Oh wow.
And it was a really good movie. And after watching the movie, I was like, oh, you know what? I've never read the book. Like, I should go like read the book. And it was awful. Just because of like how we in 2024 we're all desensitized to like a lot of things. So like the horror aspect of the book was that like a letter didn't get to your boyfriend in time, and they were like, I don't know if he's dead or if he was eaten by a masked killer. Meanwhile, Dracula's just like straight up in the other side, like, I'm gonna keep you here until I get hungry, and then I'm gonna eat you. And he's like, stop it, no you won't. And he's like, no, I'm 100% gonna kill you. And you're like, no. And then he locks him up, and then like the like epic climax moment is that he has to climb out of a window, and I'm like, did you? Ooh. All right. Ooh. Yeah, it's not.
We've come a long way.
Well, it's rough. And like basically the entire book is from the perspective of you reading letters to one another person. Yeah, so it's a rough book. And I'm sure back in like 1826 this was fire.
People were like, pissing themselves.
Oh my god. They're on the They're on a carriage ride to the next town over to get bread, just going, oh my God, what is going on? Yeah, and I'm like, listen, you ever had a 6-year-old jump off the top rungs of your bed at 6 o'clock in the morning because the cat threw up downstairs and she didn't know how to wake you? That's terrifying. Okay.
Oh man, that sounds traumatizing.
Yeah, it
You need
hurts.
to talk about that, Josh.
This morning.
Just happened. It's too fresh. I can't.
That's why I sit on this side so that you can't see this side of my face. So with that, we have, what do we got here? Silent Hill, we just talked about. A fan favorite that I thought was going to be a fan favorite of mine, and it's not, weirdly enough, because this is, my thing. But Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
Oh.
Weirdly enough, I mean, listen, it looks good. It looks like it could be a lot of fun, and it looks like for those who want to play it,
it's kind of the new old art style. Is that correct? It's the Is that the one? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a very smooth, but like kind of reminds me of like the old like Game
16-bit,
Boy,
64-bit.
Yeah, but this time you play as Zelda.
Yeah.
And you are the hero using the Triforce of Wisdom that Zelda carries. And it just, what's up? It's like this thing where I'm like, I don't know. It just the way that it looks and like nothing against like Zelda as like, a protagonist, but yeah, it just doesn't look like something that I'm going to play,
Yeah.
Maybe I'll look into it, but I will confidently say this one's not for me, and I don't know if I'll be jumping on this bandwagon.
Totally. Yeah, I have a Link to the Past, I think the remake, which I think is is kind of the art style that this one is in, and really, really great to look at. I don't find it super duper compelling for me.
Yeah.
I think when you get so attached to something like the Breath of the Wild and what they're doing with that side of things, it just makes these games, it's clear that they're making these games for a certain subset of the community, and I'm very happy for them. But I'm all on the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom side of things. I really like what they're doing there overall. So, but I think they're cool. That type of game is another one where I enjoy watching someone like do speed runs and stuff like that when they know where to go in those games. I enjoy that a lot. That's where I enjoy those games more.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm not saying that I won't like watch it or at least like keep up with it. I'm definitely going to do that, but I don't think it's going to be something that I'll be like day one releasing kind of. I don't think it's just going to be, I don't think it's going to be a game that really enters my roster for at least for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe when I blow through like all the other games that I'm looking at getting this year and then, I'm like, hey, I always keep up with the, the Legend of Zelda series and stuff. So maybe somebody will definitely be streaming it. So I will, I'll definitely watch it and keep up with it and figure out what's going on. And, honestly, sometimes I've watched games of people that or watched streams of people that are gaming certain games that I would never play and then end up being like, oh, this actually looks really cool. I'm going to jump into it,
Yeah.
So I don't know. It looks really good.
Playing as Zelda is definitely an interesting thing for sure. I'm curious to see what people think of that when it actually releases.
Yeah. And people are excited for it. I mean, it's going to have, puzzles, fighting, your standard Legend of Zelda type of stuff, but it's just,
I remember I was watching a TikTok about it, and there were these two guys, and they were like, "What, Zelda? You're playing as Zelda?" They were so pumped. I was like, "All right, boys." Like,
yeah, yeah. I also watched that trailer and was like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah.
All right.
Neat. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is coming out September 26th. So that one is right around the corner. Won't be
Oh
long
yeah.
from there. Well, I mean, at that point we're going to have our answer, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
um
TBD.
now I feel like we actually get to the big spots. Um
Ooh.
these are the big ones that I think I have let me see. Um one two, I have three major games left on my list that I think
Mm-hmm.
really are going to take the cake this year.
Yep.
But I've been kind of leading this one. So, do you have any games that you wanted to talk about? And we'll see if I already have those.
There were two releases that very specifically three that I really want to talk about. We haven't yet, so I have a feeling they are the ones that you have.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. My I think as far as recency, I think the one that is coming out the soonest is probably the Star Wars Outlaws game.
Yeah, it is.
So, I talk to me, man.
whoa. Woo.
19 days. I looked it up.
All right. Star Wars Outlaws.
As of the recording of this podcast, even closer when you guys are listening.
Yep. Yeah, this will be out on the 17th.
Yeah.
So
real close by the time
we'll be
you are
real
listening.
close. Yeah, this will be real-ish close. I believe the last I looked at it, August 30th, so end of the month.
Yeah.
Will be when the game releases. But we got a concept trailer. It looked really good. We're looking at going into a world where it's not filled with lightsabers, Jedis, and using the Force all with every other action here. But instead, we get more of like a Han Solo-esque type of character, who we don't know too much about what the story is going to be like, but we know that either we're on the run or we're trying to get something. But here's my big problem. This game's been in development for a while, and it's had some really cool hype to it. They are releasing the base game at $60. And then we are going to the deluxe edition, which is $70 or $80, $70 or $80, which comes with just some customizable stuff and I think and a mission or something that you don't get in the regular game, which already, just as a consumer, I'm saying it out loud, this is bullshit. Just if you want me to pay for a game, give me the game. If you want me to pay for extra shit, make it all cosmetic nonsense shit.
Exactly. As soon as I hear mission, I'm like, no.
Somebody will buy it. So you'll get your money for it. Not everyone is going to be paying this kind of money. But then you slap on the absolute insult of I think it's $130 for the ultimate edition for this game, where you just get cosmetics and two missions that you're not giving the rest of the world in the game. So now you're telling me that you are selling me at full price an unfinished game, and then at the same time you're going to charge me double what the game is originally priced at, so that I can have what, 2 more missions? Like, the math isn't mathing, guys.
Nope.
Like, as a developer, who thought this was going to be a good fucking idea? Because honestly, this makes me not want to play the game, and it pisses me off, because you're telling me that you're making a game. Here, I have made you a fucking BLT. All right, I made you a beautiful, well done, amazing. It smells beautiful. This is the best fucking BLT that you have ever seen in your life. And you take a fucking big old bite out of this thing and you go, where's the bacon? And I go, well, if you pay $35 extra, I'll give you the bacon. And you go, this isn't a BLT. You just gave me a lettuce tomato sandwich. And I go, no. I gave you the option to have a BLT. Man, fuck you,
Josh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get fucked.
Don't charge me double. Yeah, don't charge me double for a game and 2 missions. Like,
yeah, you're charging full price for an incomplete game.
Yeah.
Technically.
And it's unfortunate because people are going to be buying going to be spending $100 and some. And then to wrap it all off, all right, to just put the big old cherry on top of the, you know, the souffle or whatever fuck you, I don't know, food. But to top everything off here, they released a gameplay trailer or like a gameplay, like, you know, 15 minutes of gameplay or whatever. And you know what, Noah? It looks like shit.
Yeah.
It is garbage.
Yeah.
There is a scene where there is a grenade thrown and everyone jumps like crazy because this is supposed to be a huge explosion, and it goes, you know, and they're like, whoa, that was crazy. Or you throw a grenade like at a droid and the droid just disappears. Like it's just little cloud of dust.
God.
And the droid disappears. The game is not complete. It is not finished.
Yeah.
This game is not, don't listen to me when I say don't listen to me, but don't buy this game.
Don't buy this game.
This game is going to be shit. You're going to waste your money. And it's unfortunate because for fuck's sake, when are we going to get a good Star Wars game? I'm just getting so pissed. Force Unleashed was cool. Force Unleashed 2 was great. All right. But they weren't excellent games. Right.
Yeah. I like the Jedi games with Cal Kestis.
Yeah,
I do like
with Cal Kestis were enjoyable. I liked them.
Yeah, but they
love them.
They're very linear. They're very linear adventures, which there's a time and place for that. But they're not. Yeah, it's not quite at the level of this was supposed to be. This was supposed to be the big modern game treatment of Star Wars. You know, the open world, the exploration, the different territories, and it's just, you know, it's just not looking great. I personally do not like the fact that you're pigeonholed into playing one character. I have no problem with female leads. I have no problem with that at all. I don't like that you have no option to customize at all for yourself. I think when you're playing an open world, being a scoundrel, you should be able to kind of make your scoundrel the way you want it to be. And then another thing that I
1,000% agree.
Yeah. And another thing that I noticed too, beyond what you're saying about how it just doesn't look that good, it looks like it's a game that's a few years old. It
looks like a PS3 game. I'm not gonna lie.
It really just looks. It looks like a remastered PS3 game to me. It where they just minorly upgraded the textures a little bit, and then it felt like it has some really old fashioned gameplay mechanics in it. One person said. He said, you know, you go and you get into these enemy warships, and if you make a single sound, you fail the mission. And it's multiple missions like this. And he's like, that makes no sense. Why don't I get the chance to shoot my way out of this? Like a Han Solo, like they literally did in the movie where, oops, they found us. Let's get out of here, guys. And you get out. Why don't you get the chance to do that? Or maybe find a place to hide and let things chill out. Or just, you know, who knows? Maybe you could just by some streak of luck be able to shoot everybody down and become a god and, you know, and somehow make this work. Maybe that'll happen. It's just like to make it that this is a stealth mission. If you do anything but be stealthy, you fail the mission and it resets. Like, nah, that's no good. At least let it go crazy for a second and give someone a chance and let them die by being shot or something. Don't just have it be like, oh, you've been detected, game over. Like, fuck that. Like, that's just so old fashioned. It's not something we do really anymore in video games. You know, you're if you want to go in guns blazing to a stealth mission, most games nowadays are like, well, all right, feel free to try, and
100%,
sometimes
dude.
you can make it happen. And that really rubbed me the wrong way. I hate when a game says game over while your character is still alive and well walking around. Like, no, it's not over yet. I'm not dead. Let me fight. So it bothers me.
No, I 1000% agree, and that's why I liked in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Like, it's technically an Assassin's game, and you are given like the abilities to do assassin things. At no point during that game did I do sneaky shit. I went into every encounter loud and proud, and I loved that it gave me the option to do that.
Yep, exactly.
It gave me suggestions. It was like, hey, we'll give you extra points if you can go in and silently do this. And I'm like,
no thanks.
No, I'm going in there.
I'm
throwing axes. I'm blowing. Yeah. My thing is, I'm gonna let you know that I'm coming before I get there.
Hell yeah!
All right, that's my thing. And if I gotta set a ship on fire
fighting with
and
honor.
send it into the bay, like, yeah, dude, it's
Fuck
like,
yeah.
and I loved that gave me the option, and it's just, listen, folks, Star Wars Outlaws does not seem to be hitting the mark this year.
Yeah,
I wish I could say otherwise, because I've been on the bandwagon. I've been on the supporting side of Star Wars Outlaws for the last year, and I've been so excited to do this. And then they released the gameplay, and it is, and look, it's not just me. Look it up. Like, you just type in Star Wars Outlaws on YouTube, and the amount of videos where people are just like, this is garbage. Like, we all agree that, like, what are you doing? This is Skull and Bones all over again. This is bullshit. This is a game that was highly anticipated, promised that this is what we were going to be doing. You gave us a game plan. We had a map to how we were going to get there, what we were going to do, what we were doing, expecting, the videos, the visuals, the everything. And then you took a shit in a bag and handed it to us and said, here you go. Like, this, what are we doing? I've lost so much faith in the developers, and, like, honestly, Star Wars games from here on out. Like, this is bullshit.
Yep.
Like, I'm pissed about it.
And then just add on the whole price hiking, just them doing what they've always done. EA, it's just
well, and that's the same thing. Like,
I just so bad want them to get out, to lose their. I want them to not have the license to Star Wars anymore and let somebody else try, because they've just abused it.
Yes, the Skull and Bones did the same stupid shit, because they came out and said, we are the world's first quadruple A game. The world's first quadruple A game. Bro, I have played Pitfall on the PS1 and had a better time than the bullshit game of Skull and Crossbones.
Shout out to
Get
Pitfall
the fuck
on
out
PS1.
Fuck yeah, dude. Oh, God damn, dude, this game makes me want to rage, and it's not even out. I'm so disappointed with it. Like, I hate when they bring my hopes up and then they just drop them so bad. Skull and Crossbones did it. Now, Star Wars is doing it. Like, and this is a good segue for me, at least, because speaking of people who've listened to the show, I got a big love-hate relationship with Call of Duty, and Black Ops 6 is coming out. October or November, something like that. And guys, it looks amazing. And now I'm freaking out. I'm getting scared. I'm getting worried, because it looks so damn good.
But dude, what they do to you.
So scared. I know. And I'm but I tell you what, and I've made. I'll say it here. I've said it on stream. I'm making the vow here. If Black Ops 6 turns out to be shit, I'm done with Call of Duty. we will have zero Call of Duty content.
Why do I feel like you have said that in the past with other releases? I have a feeling you have said something like this before.
I can't wait till we get to like the games coming out at the end of 2025 and we just do a compilation video of me saying I'm done with these games, and then we cut to that video and I'm like, I'm so excited for this game.
If Call of Duty 7 is shit, I'm done. If 8, 9.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. If Black Ops 6 is shit, I'm done. I'm done, like completely. I'm not giving another. I got screwed on the last game. The last two before that one were dog shit. Like it's except for Cold War Zombies. I was cool with that one. I enjoyed Cold War Zombies. But that was like the last time we had round-based zombies, and the other games just decided not to have zombies altogether. So it's kind of been shit. But we've actually have gameplay, like actual gameplay footage, and we have actual like real-time evidence here on what the game is going to be. And that is probably what gives me the most confidence, because they've decided to take some time and put it into the campaign this time instead of last year's edition where the game was like 3 hours long. They've put time into the campaign. They are actually releasing the zombies with the game instead of the previous editions where it was like, hey, we have this, but we're not going to release it till later because we want to get your money again. They're like, listen, contracts are up.
If only they said it that way. Wouldn't that be nice if they were just honest and said it exactly? We have it, but we're not releasing it yet because we want to take your money again.
I would honestly, I would be less offended too. It'd just be like, it would be like taking me out to dinner before I get screwed. Like just like at least wine and dine me here. I'm not. I just. Don't just surprise me and slap me in the face with it. Like, buy me something or something. Tell me I'm pretty or something. But it's just, I'm so tired of these developers, man.
Yeah.
But we'll get back into we're gonna be when Black Ops 6 comes out. I will be getting it. And so will Mercilist Brian. And we are going to do an in-depth full review of the game. And I'll tell you what, at that point, I'll tell you if we're sticking on the Call of Duty bandwagon or if we'll be seeing it next year. So,
I can't wait to hear your thoughts.
I genuinely am excited for it. The only thing that does kind of mess with me is that in order to download the base game of Black Ops 6, you have to have the other one of the other games for it to piggyback off of. So it is a 380 gig download, and then once it's all done, then you can delete 280 gigs.
What the hell?
So,
Wowzers!
I don't know, but it
is my God!
But for Black Ops players, for Xbox players, you're in luck. Xbox basically made a pretty intense deal. When Black Ops 6 releases, it will be available on the Xbox Game Pass. You will not have to pay for it. So there you go.
Well,
now
nice.
The only thing I will say,
if I play
is to be careful.
Call of Duty games.
Yeah, I will say just be careful because at any point that can change. So if you put a lot of time and effort into it, and then it's taken off of the Game Pass, like you're gone. You don't have it. Yeah, so angry with those stupid Star Wars game.
Well, we got two more, right? Two more big ones, right? Or do you have more than that?
Big ones. I have one big one.
Ooh.
So okay. I'm anxious to know. Wait, was one of yours Dragon Age?
Oh yeah. I thought the new Assassin's Creed came out this year.
Yeah,
or is that not?
that's the one that I have. That's the one that I have. Yep.
Dragon Age and Assassin's Creed were the last two. So whichever one you want to talk about first.
Well, let's go out with a bang. So let's start with Dragon Age because we don't have a release date yet for Dragon Age.
I thought you were gonna say to start with. We're a little flipped on which one we're more hyped for.
Well, and the only reason I say we end with Assassin's Creed because Assassin's Creed actually has a release date.
Dragon Age. Fair.
Dragon Age technically they could push it back again. So it's been how long has it been since Inquisition? Because I played Inquisition in high school. Okay,
2014.
We are like, then I didn't play it in high school. Okay, then I played it after high school.
You felt like it was high school.
It felt like high school. Maybe it was just because I was still
bloomer,
living at home.
It's okay.
Still living in my bedroom.
May as well have been in high school.
But 2014 was a fun time because that's when you play all the female characters because they have smaller hitboxes.
According
so 2014
according to some.
So 2014 so that it has been 10 years.
10 years
since Dragon Age has come out with a new game. And even before that, it had been like years. So to see a game that has been technically had 10 years for development, I am anticipating it, which is why it's at the bottom of the list for today's episode. I am very, very excited for this game. I have always loved the Dragon Age games. Inquisition slaps for a lot of people. Oddly enough,
also has
Dragon Age 2
parts.
Yeah, Dragon Age 2 was my favorite. That's just
a lot of people really love that.
It's the most sentimental to me. I enjoyed it. That was like one of the when I like really had the time to like really sink into the series. But Inquisition was good, and the very first Dragon Age was not bad. They've all been pretty good. So I'm very much looking forward to this new Dragon Age. What is the title that they have given it? What's like the actually official name?
Dragon Age: The Veilguard. It does actually pick up from the story of Inquisition to an extent. Yeah. I don't know, man. I just BioWare, and it plays even into Larian with Baldur's Gate 3. That formula of going on this fantasy adventure with companions and friends that will help you fight and that you connect with, and you can have all kinds of different types of relationships, and then just hit heavier because you're not alone. That scratches an itch for me. That's my fave. So I'm really pumped for it, for the story aspect and the role play kind of side of things. I definitely understand what you mean. The game, I think, was restarted and changed direction multiple times. It was thought to be one thing, then they changed it, and then they kind of went back to it again. So I'm hopeful, but I'm a little worried that it could be a little clunky, and that maybe some of the stuff won't. Especially after a release as sophisticated as Baldur's Gate 3, another game that's being released kind of in that kind of similar vein, it might just really not feel as good. It might be a really hard sell after something like Baldur's Gate. So we'll see. Yeah,
but there is also a possibility that the game, that they really took their time in the 10 years to really put the game out. I'm sure every game always has its bugs that they can't catch immediately and stuff. But Dragon Age has always been one of those series that has had the ability to kind of bounce back. Not that they have fallen, but they were able to, their game always comes out. It never gets worse is what I'm trying to say. And oddly enough, they are a company that has, for the most part, listen to the community, you know, and they're like, hey, there's some issues going on. Bam, they get it fixed. It might take some time, but they fix it. Or there's some like content that they want. Like the DLCs are always like, I have not hated any of the DLCs. So like they've been kind of nice, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I really think for me, as more of a casual gamer, I think the gameplay style might be a little bit easier for me than Baldur's Gate 3 with its turn-based and you control every character, and you know that it's a little bit more accessible to someone like me, maybe a little faster moving, which I think I might actually enjoy a little bit more than the combat stylings of Baldur's Gate 3. But as far as the character interactions and companionship, it's going to be hard to beat that. So we'll just have to see.
Sure. Yeah, it'll be interesting. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it a lot. I'm pretty excited. I think it's going to be it'll be a good game. I would
I
really
feel
like
pretty good about it.
I would like to see them lock down a release date.
Yeah, just fucking release it.
Exactly. Just release it or give a release date, or give yourself a like actually set a goal for yourself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, let the public know, because there's a lot of people who want to support the game, and unfortunately there is a point in the year where if you release the game too late, like we're all playing other shit. So you know, your numbers aren't going to be great, and you're not going to get the feedback that you want from the game. So like either set a date or push it to a time that you know that you're going to be able to set the game for. So
yeah, because we're all going to be playing Assassin's Creed
stuff. Yeah, well, Assassin's Creed. Woo! Assassin's Creed Shadows takes place in feudal Japan, and holy shit, I'm excited for this one. I am so excited for this one. I have played every single one of the Assassin's Creed games. I love the Assassin's Creed games. They're all so unique and wonderful in their own way, except Rogue. Fuck that game. But all of them have been so and you know what? You heard it here first. Get in the comments. Convince me I'm wrong, okay? But Assassin's Creed Black Flag can suck eggs, all right? Everybody loves it. It's shit, all right?
Yeah.
You're not an assassin. You're a pirate pretending to be an assassin. There is a whole island of the Brotherhood who straight up tell you, no, you cannot be an assassin.
You're a loser. You don't make the cut.
Yes. And then Edward throws a big old tantrum, and he's got to run away to Pirate Island and go complain to Blackbeard and stuff. Like, give me a break, Edward. Grow up. Anyway, Assassin's Creed Shadow.
I tell you, a question for you.
Comes out
about
August 30th. We're getting there.
Ooh.
No, it doesn't.
Question for you.
30th. Comes out November 12th.
So a little long.
A little longer.
Basically the same.
Yeah, almost like within like a week or two, right?
Yeah. There was a time where I was like, Assassin's Creed needs to do this, needs to go to this era. Must do it. It makes no sense why they haven't yet. I'm a little worried for them because we've had some absolutely stellar games that take place with this type of world recently. Two of them. I'm speaking of their names. Those two games, they have titles.
Wait, what are you talking about? Like in like this part of the world? Are you talking about?
No, the shinobi style. You know, Japan. That that style of.
You're talking about Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima, yes, and the one from Software, Sekiro. I got it.
Oh, yeah. But that one's like a Souls game.
It is, but it also is the same kind of warriors and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just wonder
right.
if those games, both of them highly lauded, especially not Sekiro, especially the other one. Why am I struggling with the names? Man, brain fart today.
Ghosts of Tsushima.
Ghosts of Tsushima. Yes. I'm going to make you have to do a lot of editing here. Ghost of Tsushima did it so good. I'm worried that people are going to just automatically compare. And if the gameplay isn't as good, they're going to be like, why waste your time? Go play Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I think you're kind of on the same track here I think they need to come out with a Ghost of Tsushima 2, which I think they are planning on it. I just haven't seen much of it, but Tsushima 2 should definitely happen. But weirdly enough, with Assassin's Creed Shadow, I have only seen and heard really kind of like arguing points that I didn't actually think were even needed to be argued. And that's been my thing. That the it seems like more of the complaints are coming from who the dual protagonists are in the game than the game itself. And that's where it's kind of, I don't know, like there's the argument is this is the argument of those who I've seen. This is not me, because I truly don't care. I just want a good game. I don't give a shit who is in the damn game, but the argument is that with the black protagonist being in feudal Japan, and then the woman as like the other protagonist, and people are like losing their shit because they're like, oh, it's not historically accurate. And I'm like, guys, why are we not?
Oh,
this
for
is
crying
Assassin's
out
Creed.
loud.
Like literally everything they do is historically accurate. Like that's their fucking gimmick,
Yeah.
Like that's their thing, is that they make sure everything is like
I'm sorry, guys.
They've gone so historically accurate that they actually got themselves in trouble. I don't know if you've seen that news, but they used a lot of the logos, artwork, and symbols and stuff as an actual like reenactment group in the real world, who were like, hey, we don't like you're using our stuff for this, and then they like genuinely apologized and changed it in the game. I have like a single hair that keeps poking me in the face. But Yasuke, which is the male protagonist, and I'm probably butchering the name, so I deeply apologize. It's Naoe, not Naoe, something like that. As the female protagonist, and I think it's fantastic because their characters are literally like, guys, we're looking at a damn story, okay? And we're not going to start a story where somebody's live's going in the perfect direction, now are we? Because that doesn't make a good protagonist, does it?
Exactly.
All right, we don't just go, oh, well, Goldilocks had everything in her hands. In fact, she tripped over a log that had $4 billion in it. Did you like that story? Was it fun? No. All right. Goldilocks had to go get messed up by a bunch of bears for us to understand the concept of stop stealing other people's shit, Goldilocks. Fuck.
All right. There's gotta be fight now. There's gotta be something.
Yes, dude.
There's gotta be bears.
Where like Yasuke was a real historical samurai. Yeah. There's Yasuke was a real historical samurai. If they're using him in the game, then yeah, dude, maybe it's not historically, the way that you sought out the game to be, like, Bayek being, the Egyptian start of the Brotherhood, in Assassin's Creed Origins or whatever. But like, guys, you're missing the fucking point here. Like Yasuke was still Japanese. And then we're in a time where it's like, hey, we can't judge everybody, by the way that they look. And then they're like, wow, but he doesn't look like he belongs here. No, my friend.
Oh my God.
He lived there. He was a slave that kind of figured out like, you know, made a name for himself and is like very famously, you know, known in like, you know, Japan's history. Like this is not a thing that they were just like, you know, it'd be really woke of us if we made him black. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, no,
No,
that's not
I
what
feel
happened.
like people are so like, forgive me if I'm getting too, you know, political here or something. While you take care of your
Damn
hair there,
hair just I
people
got a
seem
rogue
to think
mustache
that
hair that just keeps poking my nose.
people seem to think that
Sorry.
you know, our understanding of world history is the God's honest truth, and that if it isn't exactly how you were taught it or it was presented to you, then it's not accurate. Guess what, buddy? We've whitewashed and you know, race washed so much of world history. Guess what? There were black people in Japan back then. There were.
Yeah, I don't
There
want to
were
freak
other
you
people
out,
than
but
just Japanese
Jesus
people.
was white, or Jesus was
Yeah.
not white.
Yeah, wait, Josh.
I don't want to freak you out, but Jesus. Hang on, bring that back. Jesus was not white.
I was like, okay, we're going in a different direction. But yeah, like that exactly. Agree with what you said, except for Jesus. Jesus was white.
Like, all right, well, opposite direction there, but it's okay. I get it.
Your podcast. Say what you want, buddy.
Listen, yeah, my bad. It was a slip. It was a slip here.
Yeah, of course. That's so funny. But yeah, like, I'm sorry to say, the world history is much more diverse than the way we've been taught. So good on the developers for actually doing their research and saying, hey, there's a story that can be told here, you know? So I'm excited for that. I think that's fantastic. That made me, I saw those two characters and I thought, oh, that actually helped me feel maybe a little better about some of those comparisons that I talked about, because I think if their story is super unique and their story is taking another route, then that could really help with some of those other concerns. If you're telling a really unique story, then hey, everyone deserves a chance to tell a story in that kind of a world. If you can tell something unique, then you don't have to worry about comparisons because you're doing your own thing. So I'm hopeful, and I definitely am much more interested in playing it than I was. So
yeah, no, I'm
sure.
I'm super excited for it. I'm very excited to see what they do with this. I think it's going to be an absolute banger. The gameplay looks incredible. The way that it, like, the design of the game looks amazing. I'm really excited for each Assassin's Creed has always introduced like a very new, unique fighting style or a hidden blade. You know, whereas in this game it looks like it's, you know, it ejects from, you know, the wrist, as they all do, but then it kind of curves, so you kind of just get that, like, you know, that turn of the blade and kind of like, you know, the hidden blade kind of thing. I'll be excited to see if we get, you know, the return of the two hidden blades. We haven't had that in a while. But each protagonist has you know, wielded the hidden blade differently. It'll also be very you know, interesting, because we've seen the hidden blade on, again, I'm sorry if I mispronounced this, but Naoa or Naoa, so I don't know, I'm gonna, on the female protagonist or female presenting protagonist.
I'm in the game.
Yeah, Noah. But we've seen the hidden blade on that you know, character. But since it's going to be a dual protagonist game, just like it was with Syndicate, it'll be very interesting to see you know, what Sasuke gets as a hidden blade. And I'm very excited to see where this game goes. It's going to be I think it's going to be great. I think, you know, with the absolute banger that Valhalla was, I think this game is going to absolutely smash. I think it's going to be so good, and I'm very excited to play it.
I really feel like they took some more time with this one, and I'm really glad to. It gives me more confidence that it could be really good. And as someone who, like you, actually thought Valhalla was an absolutely fantastic addition,
Yes.
I have high hopes that if they're still building games in that kind of vein, it's going to be enjoyable. And as Viking World is like my favorite, so that was like, it was like they served it to me on a silver platter. If Viking is 100%. Right, like number 2 is this Japanese background and this whole thing. So like they're just giving me exactly what I want. It's like I call them, I talk to them, and they're like, "You got it, man. We'll do it for you." So I'm really happy.
No, I 100% agree. 1,000%.
I'm pumped for it.
Yeah, it's going to be so damn good, and I'm so excited for it. I got, it's Assassin's Creed, Black Ops 6, and Dragon Age are like my 3 like top radar games right now that I'm definitely going to be, making sure that we're going to be doing some reviews. I'm hoping, honestly, when we get to the Assassin's Creed Shadows release, I think it'd be really cool to at least play like the first couple hours on stream. I'm looking forward to that, just to kind of give my first impressions and stuff. But I can already tell this is not going to be a game where I can stream solely all the time because I'm going to want to play it. There's no way. Yeah, there's no way I could just play this game while I'm streaming. Like, there's no way. Absolutely no way. I'm going to be getting up early just to play like an hour or two before I go to work.
Yeah.
Like it's so good. So Noah, hey, thank you so much for doing this episode with me.
Hey, always love being
sorry
here.
I gave everyone a scare last week. But got to keep everybody on their toes sometimes.
Yeah,
but also last week's episode I was being very genuine. That was not just me being entertaining kind of thing. Everything I said in that episode, I mean it. I appreciate everyone who's been on the show, my support, the community. I love everybody who is there for me. It's super fantastic, and I'm super, super appreciative. Noah, how does it feel to be at the top of the list of guest appearances?
Well, it feels like that's how it always should have been. So it feels right, is what I would say.
You're
it
so
feels
humble.
right. I'm right where nice. I deserve to be. I feel like I don't even hardly count as a guest anymore. I'm like a recurring friend. I'm like an occasional. I'm just like I'm around. And I mean, everyone knows I'm always involved on the back end a little bit. So
yeah,
you may not see my face, but I'm involved in some level. Although to be fair, Josh, you've been steering the ship, handling it pretty well on your own of late. So,
well, you've been a really good teacher. You've kind of
I've taught you
me how to use all this stuff. So
you're rocking it, dude. Yep. So happy to be
Moving
here.
on.
Happy to continue to assist as needed and be on board. And I love it. It's my favorite thing, listening to the podcast. Truly, truly.
Well, Noah, you know how we do at the end of every show. Is there anything you want to shout out, my dude?
I would just like truly to shout out the Phoenix Stewart live streams. I truly, as a member, frequent visitor of that, it's one of my most favorite things that I do anymore is on the weekends and the evenings, pop on and just hang out with my buddy here while he tries to keep up with chat that is actually kind of we're rough on him. We're a little mean, but he just takes it on the chin. He just does it. You can watch Josh and I continually confuse each other because I respond immediately to something he says with a little joke. And when he reads it about 5 minutes later, he has no idea what I'm talking about. And so that we just repeat that pretty much the whole night. I will write something and then he'll just go, You okay, man? I don't know what you said. And I'll just be like, well, if you would have read it after you... So if you want to enjoy that,
say this.
Me constantly confusing Josh here.
I gotta say it here because not everybody would know. You and I played D&D a little while back, and there was a point where I was DMing, and I said something, And then Noah made fun of what I just said. And the absolute confusion on my face. I genuinely still, to this day, still do not have any recollection of ever saying that. Now, luckily, because one of our friends were not able to make that game, we recorded it. And we went back and we clipped it. And I sure as hell said what they said I said, and I do not remember it at all. And it was like, it's not like, oh, you said this 20 minutes ago. It was like, you said this 30 seconds ago. And
it was like a couple minutes prior.
It was bad. So yeah,
you were so offended.
To remember
like, I can't believe you would ever think I would say that. And he was like, "Well, you did." So
what's funny is I remember what everybody else says to me. I never remember what comes out of my own face, like ever.
Oh, that'll serve you very well in the public arena here, dude.
No, I've gone back. Yeah, I've gone back and I've listened to episodes that like from this show, and I've listened back on them and gone, that was a good point. And then I will speak in the show and I'll be like, damn, what are the odds of that? It was a really good. I don't remember saying that, but look at me go. You know?
Good job, me.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I would have said. Hey. Oh, wait, I did.
Yeah. I'm like, this guy thinks
I
just
really
like
agree
I do.
with this Josh guy. This Josh guy knows what's up. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying your show so much.
It's all I've been listening to this week. This Who What Now Gaming podcast, man. They know it. Yeah, they're good. They always have such cool guests on the show.
Remember
like,
episode 1 where you said you weren't sure how you would be able to handle the sound of your voice? Look at you now.
Yeah. Now I listen to it every day. All right. Well, Noah, thank you so much for being here.
On that note.
Yeah, as we all know, you can find me on the Instagrams at Phoenix Stewart, or you can find the show on Instagram at Who What Now Pod. You can also find us on TikTok. Find clips of the episodes from before and future episodes that are coming out, shortly. You can find that at Who What Now Pod. Also, as Noah mentioned, we are on Twitch. We stream every Saturday from 7 to midnight, Sundays from 9 to midnight, and Mondays from 10 a.m. to 12. I am on twitch.tv/Phoenix Stewart, PhoenixStwrt. I always think I'm going to spell my name
link in description.
But I will throw all the links down in the description. So as always, have a fantastic rest of your day, Noah. And for the rest of you, go outside, look up at the sky, feel the sun in the face, hug a tree, and high five a squirrel. And like I said last week, I will most definitely see you next time.